Hello and welcome to Spinster's Library. I'm Claudia and today was supposed to be a video about Jane Austen. But instead, yesterday I saw this Buzzfeed article making the rounds on Twitter. It's going to be linked in the description box. And the title of this article is really just a roundup. I'm so sorry, but here's how some male authors for really real described women in books. When I clicked on that article, I already had a vague suspicion of what I was going to find because I too, as a reader, come across these descriptions over and over again, and I don't know whether to laugh or cry about it. I'm currently tending more towards the laugh side because if I take this seriously, then I might just have to accept the fact that men think about women in this way. So today I want to present to you 3 archetypes of male writing of women in books as presented by this Buzzfeed article. Now, the Buzzfeed article itself is based on a subreddit titled Men Writing Women. So that will also be linked in the description box, and you will find many more examples of what I am going to talk about. Quick warning, this video is going to be not safe for work, not safe for children, not safe if you're squeamish about body parts. The first archetype, and possibly the most prevalent, is what I'm going to call impossible breast physics. Men just really seem to have difficulties understanding the physiology and anatomy of breasts. And that shows itself in excerpts like this one from a C.S. Forester book. By the way, I'm going to try and name the authors when I can, but some of these screenshots are posted without any citation, so I can't do that in those cases. This one is from C.S. Forester. Those big breasts of hers, which had begun to sag when she had begun to lapse into spinsterhood, were firm and upstanding now again, and she could look down on them swelling out the bosom of her white drill frock without misgiving. It's not how it works. Your descent into spinsterhood does not actually change the shape of your boobs. Age definitely changes the shape of your breasts, but then they don't just suddenly become firm and upstanding when a guy looks at you. Breasts also don't actually show emotion, like this author seems to think. She was about to cover her startled breasts. I'm just imagining a pair of boobs going, ooh, and just kind of retreating into the bra. Yeah, that's not a thing. Similarly, the next example that reads, her large breasts rippled in appreciation. Now, I'm not sure about you, but mine have never rippled in any kind of circumstances. I enjoy this next one as well. Belera shook her head, her breasts swaying as she did. Girl, you need a new bra. As she moved with her undulating grace of one of the big predatory cats, bare feet thrust into open sandals, so the big pointed breasts joggled tautly under the thin cotton of her t-shirt. Where do I start? Breasts are not pointy unless you're wearing a 1950s bullet bra. So I guess the takeaway from this first category of men writing women is breasts do not actually have a life of their own. They don't change shape and appearance randomly in reaction to something that is happening in the outside world, and they are not pointy. The second category is one I'm going to call I'm pretty sure that's anatomically correct. I particularly enjoy this example about men and women's different toilet habits. Men, they were able to conjure it up immediately. That was one of their powers, that thunderous splashing as they stood lordly above the bowl. Everything about them was more direct. Their insides weren't the maze women's were, for the pee to find its way through. No. If your urine has to actually find its way through a maze of bowels, there's something seriously wrong down there. There's also this particularly sharp piece of detective work. Stretch marks. So she's had at least one child. That's not how that works. Everyone has stretch marks. Men have stretch marks. My cat has stretch marks. And then, of course, we get to the periods talk. Sex drives decent energy, you can't argue about that. Keep sex drive all bottled up inside and you get dull-witted. Throws your whole body out of whack. Holds the same for men and for women, but with a woman, her monthly cycle can get irregular, and when her cycle's off, it can make her imbalanced. No. Your sex drive does not actually influence your menstruation cycle, and an imbalanced menstruation cycle does not make you into an imbalanced woman. Another case of impossible anatomy is this little description. Her eyelids drooped at the corners for an instant, and the translucent little nostrils quivered at the mysterious thrill that stirred her maiden being. This only makes sense if we're talking about a being made of actual glass. Oh, more period talk. Angie always started on Sundays. Her cycle always lasted 3 days. You could set your daily planner by it. Well, have you not upgraded your uterus yet to give you monthly notifications and set the day of the week when your period's gonna start? Get with the times, lady. The last group, and this one's unfortunately a bit less funny, but is also possibly the most prevalent one, is the straight up pervy and objectifying. So this one's from Haruki Murakami, who is, I should point out, an almost universally beloved author. After reading this extract, I'm really not keen on actually reading any of his books. Around young, beautiful, fat women, I'm generally thrown into confusion. I don't know why. Maybe it's because an image of their dietary habits naturally congeals in my mind. When I see a goodly-sized woman, I have visions of her mopping up that last drop of cream sauce with bread, wolfing down that final sprig of watercress garnish from her plate. And once that happens, it's like acid corroding metal. Scenes of her eating spread through my head and I lose control. Your plain fat woman is fine. Fat women are like clouds in the sky. They're just floating there, nothing to do with me. But your young, beautiful fat woman is another story. I am demanded to assume a posture towards her. I could end up sleeping with her. That's probably where all the confusion comes in. Which is not to say that I have anything against fat women. No, I'm sure you don't. Disgusting piece of writing there. Absolutely horrible. This one, oh, it just gets worse and worse. Women, and by extension apparently all female humanoids or gynecoids in general, are like cats, or like the Marbuses of Mizar, that all women love so much. When you call them, they don't come, and when you don't call them, there's no way to get rid of them. Fuck off. The next one just shows how obsessed men are with wiggling and jiggling body parts. This is a very flattering description of a lady. Her breasts were like pillars of dough and her ass was like a mold of gelatin, wiggling with each step. I can really see the male author thinking, I gotta make sure she's described as sexy, but I'm gonna use a really weird and gross analogy so that people don't think that I'm sexist. How about her butt dipping and spinning, 2 big round muscles like the rumps of mountain sheep. Lovely. And with that image, I'm going to leave you. Cue the not all men comments. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.